Hello, or should I say, hey, uBuddy?
Hey,
That's what I tried to do. And we have Owen joining today.
morning, afternoon, good night, whatever time it is
Yeah.
with you.
Well, it's the night time here. It's morning for you. I am still in Australia, but flying back next week. Marcin, we don't know where he is. I'm pretty sure he's somewhere on a ski slope. I think he's snowboarding right now. So
Yeah, I think you should. We were saying earlier, you should have challenged him to hold his phone out and just kind of like do the
yeah,
umbraCoffee live.
yeah, it was discussed. But yeah, I mean, it's been a busy week. We're all still busy. How was your week?
Really busy. Yeah, I haven't been on Twitter or things like that just as quite as much as normal. Just been so busy, kind of just with projects internally, which is nice. But at the same time, yeah, trying to keep up with things, especially on the run up to Codegarden and stuff.
Yeah,
It's getting a bit crazy.
yeah. Codegarden's really not that long away now. Everything seems to be ramping up very, very quickly, and I think what you're saying is pretty typical of everyone right now. Everyone's quite busy. So
Yeah, yeah.
maybe let's jump to some news because this week we had. We had actually scheduled 2 releases for Umbraco CMS with 7.14, which is going to be one of the last major minor 7 releases. There is a 7.15 according to the issue tracker. Yes, but when that happens, I don't know, and it's mostly going to be community fixes, it seems. But 7.14's out, and it's got the RJP Multi URL Picker now in the core.
Which good to see.
Yeah, it's great to see. It's in V8 already, but it's here now as well, and a ton of fixes, really a ton of fixes, which looks great. I think there was also Paul Seal's TLS 1.2 health check stuff's in there now as well.
Yeah.
Great to see. 8.0, 8.0.1 was scheduled originally to come out on Tuesday, but it was pulled at the last minute, and I'm not. Did you hear why, Owen?
No.
Anything.
The only thing I saw was there's some chat around kind of they just didn't feel it was ready to go live. So
Yeah,
which I think is the right move if by force it, to make sure it's ready to go live when
yeah,
it's ready.
yeah. Completely agree. I mean, if it's not ready, then let's not release it. And I think now that HQ run cloud, they can see these issues as they arise. They discover as they're rolling something out, oh, okay, this is really not going to work, and they roll it back, which is great. Dog fooding their own product.
Yep.
Now, Owen, you mentioned Codegarden, and there's been a lot of Codegarden news this week. Of course, it's not that long away. I wonder how long it is. Let me pull up the Is It Codegarden website. But it's less than 2 months now, I believe.
It's kind of sneaking up on us a bit.
Yeah, is it codegardenyet.com?
See if it's been updated.
67 days, 20 hours, 24 minutes, 50 seconds. So not that long, just over 2 months. And we're starting to get a lot of information about it, including some speakers, which are slowly being updated. I think there's kind of, occasional updates. We've not seen too many recently, but I'm sure there's some coming. And did you see Niels's tweet earlier in the week about how this is one of the most diverse lineups they've had? And
it did. Yeah.
It is really good to start seeing.
It's brilliant. Yeah, it's really good to kind of see the lineup and just a real mix as well. It's not just kind of the usual speakers that we see at festivals. There's a real diverse mix. It's great.
Absolutely. And a really diverse selection of talks, not necessarily specifically Umbraco focused. So that I've seen Emma's developing talent talk, and it was fantastic at the UK festival. But then there's empathy related talks from Carol. We've got something on documentation and UX and all kinds of stuff. This week, I think they confirmed Dean Barker's coming back, and he'll be doing a talk on, I'm not quite sure what, we'll have to have a look. But his talk last year was great. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I think it's going to make it quite interesting to try and pick which talks you want to go to over the 3 days. I know last year I struggled to pick which ones I wanted to go to, and this year's going to be just as hard, I think.
Yeah, definitely, and especially as I mean, I like to drink a bit during Codegarden, as I'm sure many others do, and sometimes some of the best sessions are on really early in the morning, and that's sometimes a little bit of a struggle. But yeah, no, definitely, really looking forward to it. It's going to be hard to choose. Did you see? You said you've been off Twitter, but did you see Neil's teasing a little picture of some swag?
I did. I really liked it.
I really like it too, and I'm not sure if this is the official Codegarden t-shirt or if this is going to be one of the CG Runners ones or something else, the uBuddy one maybe, which we'll talk about in a second. But yeah, this looks really, really cool. I'm super excited about that one. Actually, okay, I mentioned uBuddy. Let's talk about uBuddy because we've mentioned this a few times on umbraCoffee in the past few weeks. For anyone that doesn't know, there was a kind of a call for applicants to be people that have gone to Codegarden before that want to maybe help out introducing some new faces to the Umbraco world at Codegarden and buddy up with someone. I know, Owain, you've been quite passionate for a while on making sure we can have an introduction session for all the new faces to on the first day.
It was kind of like as soon as I came away from Codegarden last year, it was just like I just had this kind of thought of, you know, it'd be really cool of just being able to introduce first timers. And as a first timer last year, I kind of felt it would have been good to kind of have an intro of where, I don't know, things like where all the studios were, because like there's a couple of times I couldn't find a stage because I think it's the one where umbraCoffee was, which is kind of hidden behind through a door and all that kind of thing. So yeah, I kind of submitted a talk suggestion pretty early on last year. And I think what HQ have done is fantastic. They've kind of taken, I think, from feedback from other people as well, that a first timers event is needed. And I think their idea of putting it before the keynote, so it's the very first thing that happens, is really good.
Yeah, definitely, and it's on the first day, which means my worries about not getting there because I've had a heavy night the night before probably suppressed slightly. But yeah, that's great, and they're going to do this uBuddy session or introducing buddies beforehand, and they've put up a web page with everyone who had volunteered. So where's that gone? Yeah, so this is the list of uBuddies. There seems to be a lot of UK representatives. But a lot of people in here that we actually know. So you're on there, I'm on there, Marcin's on there. We've got Matthew, Purnima, Carol, Paul, Ravi, and then a load of community names from around the world that people know, including Arnold and Jeffrey and Christian and Dirk, who I believe this week was your unicorner. Not unicorner, sorry, what am I talking about? Community corner.
Yeah. So yeah, so I've kind of I had the thought of when everybody was announced that it'd be quite good to kind of take the community corner in a slightly different direction from where it has been probably the last 6 months or so. And so I reached out to HQ just to check that they weren't going to do like the U profile idea for everybody, and they weren't. So I kind of suggested, well, how about I'd run the community corner as a uBuddy profile on the run up now to Codegarden, and there's more than enough people there to fill up my time to get blogs from everybody, and the feedback's been fantastic. And I need to check, I've got quite a few of the uBuddies now, all filled out my questionnaire, and so I'll be publishing it over the next couple of weeks, as and when I can, on the run up.
Nice. You mentioned the questionnaire there. We'll post a link in the description below, wherever that is. I don't know anymore. But yeah. So if you are a uBuddy and you want to be on the community corner, just go there, fill in some details, and you'll be all signed up, hopefully, to be on one of the blogs in the future, right?
Yeah, it's just a Google form. I think it's got maybe 5 or 6 questions. I didn't want to make it too long and time consuming, because I know we're all seriously busy. Oh.
Yeah, absolutely, awesome. And you've also said before about the direction of the unicorn. What am I talking? Sorry, I keep saying this. The direction of the community corner and where that's going to go, because it initially started out being purely about highlighting new faces in the community. And I think a few months ago, you maybe changed that slightly. Is that right?
Yeah, it was basic. You're right. It was originally to be people. The criteria originally was people that had been using Umbraco for less than a year and wanted to be introduced to the community. And I found, initially, I had quite a few people that signed up to it, which was fantastic, and I introduced them as people have seen on the community corner. And then it's kind of dried up a wee bit. And then I've been speaking to a number of people through Twitter and Slack and things like that, and they've come up with ideas of maybe actually republishing people that are known in the community, so that new people to the community kind of get introduced to these well-known faces. And so yeah, I've just been rethinking things, and maybe just actually now introducing people that might have worked with Umbraco for years but are new to the actual community. So it is kind of now just getting people into the community. So it doesn't matter how long you've been working with Umbraco. If you're new to the community, that's all that really counts.
Yeah, that's really awesome. And I think the challenges you faced with finding these new faces are pretty evident across the community. We struggle the same thing with umbraCoffee, making sure we can get some fresh opinions and fresh voices on. But I hope that maybe the uBuddy program is going to help highlight some of those people. And with looking at the list of uBuddies up there, a lot of those people are very active community members already. And hopefully they can try and encourage and give some of these people a push to get more involved, and maybe feature on the community corner or umbraCoffee or something else in future. So it's maybe maybe it's cyclical. Maybe we'll start to see trade pick up again. If you
yeah, maybe. I think as well that there's the whole issue of Twitter is the main community, if you like, and if you're not on Twitter, then you won't hear about all these kind of initiatives like umbraCoffee and kind of the community corner and things like that. So it's just trying to find where everybody's hiding, I guess. If they're not on Twitter, they're going to be somewhere, but you just need to find them, I guess. Yeah,
absolutely. Whilst we're talking about conferences, I'm just going to add a couple of last things. So the Umbraco Awards, which there's a ton of categories for, are still open, and you have another week. It's next Friday, 5 p.m. European time, the deadline. So if you want to submit a package or a website that you've worked on with your company, go ahead and submit it, and then they announce the winners at Codegarden. So you have a week left to do that. And next week it is Umbraco Spark, and I believe there's still a couple of tickets left. The full speaker lineup has been announced, and it looks pretty good. We've got Kenneth from HQ and myself and Steve, Laura, Lee, Pete Duncanson, and then some really, really great community track talks as well. So that should be pretty exciting. And we'll, of course, be doing a live umbraCoffee from there. So if you haven't got your tickets, it's in Bristol next week. Go ahead and do that. And I just wanted to highlight this. This is a little bit of a shameless personal plug, but also for Mike. So Mike and I have submitted respective talks to DDD Southwest, which is a free conference ran in April, and it's open for voting. So if you think that we should be able to present some of our talks at DDD, go ahead. I'll put the link to vote in the description. I've proposed 3 topics, and one of them is Umbraco focus. So maybe it would be great to introduce some Umbraco stuff to the wider Microsoft community. But if you want to go and vote for either of us, I'll share the link. Right. Okay. Yes. So, did you see the big training news this week?
I did, and then I quickly checked what did that mean for my qualifications.
Yeah. So I think for a little while they've been updating the courses and making sure that they're maybe more applicable and more. There's some broader skills that you can demonstrate by doing certifications. And I've been wondering, the more courses they add, how long is it going to be before my master status gets revoked and I have to sit all these other courses. And they've actually answered that this time. So yesterday or the day before, Andrew Barter, training God at Umbraco, whatever his title is, released a nice blog post with three key messages. The first being, there's a new course. It's the certification course. Just like the load balancing course that was announced 2-3 weeks ago, which started originally as a Codegarden workshop. The Umbraco security course is Sebastian's Hack Your Own Website workshop converted into a course. And I think this is going to be really successful. The other thing that they've announced is that they've categorized their courses now. So fundamentals is the Umbraco fundamentals course. The foundation course is being, this is all the stuff you really should know if you're going to be working with Umbraco, is extending back office, MVC, application integration, and then the new security course. And then they have these skill-based courses, which are the more niche specific things. So searching, indexing, load balancing, cloud. If you're not going to be working with any of those technologies, you don't need to be doing those courses. So that makes sense. And then finally, they've said that they're going to bump the minimum requirement to be a master from 300 points to 350 points. So that means if you're a master right now, you just need to do one more course to retain your master status.
Yeah, I think that's a good balance as well. It's not saying you have to sit another 5 courses or something like that. Yeah. It's just one extra course.
Exactly.
I think is it by the end of December? I think they were saying.
Yeah, so we've got to the end of the year, which is good because I don't plan on doing them all right now. But yeah, till the end of the year to update that, and I believe until the end of the year to do the V8 bridging courses as well. It doesn't mean that your V7 certifications disappear at the end of this year, but they give you a year to update them. Otherwise, you have to sit them again. So there's maybe a couple of courses that people need to do this year. The reason they've said that they're doing all of this is because now there's 8 courses. It seems silly that you have to have 5, only 5 of the 8 to be classed as a master. It's not a huge proportion. So now it's a master should have another skill set. So one of these skill courses, they should have done all the fundamental courses, all of the foundation stuff, and then one of the additional skills. I think it's a good mix, like you say. Oh, and whilst we're talking about training, there's a 25% off discount right now if anyone cares for that.
Go and get my credit card.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw John Cito on Slack offering some advice on if you've got a card that lets you buy in a foreign currency without any fees. It's better to buy in euros on the Umbraco courses because the conversion rate they use if you're in pounds or in dollars or another currency is not great. So pro tip from John.
Yeah, good to know.
Cool. So that's kind of the major news this week, but I wanted to highlight a few other things. So we have some releases. V8 came out 2 weeks ago now, I think. 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's right.
People have been scrambling to get their packages updated to work on V8, including Skybrid grid data, which if anyone hasn't used it before, just lets you pull strongly typed data out of the grid. So that's in beta right now, and it's on GitHub for people to try out. Hendy announced, and he's lucky I went on Twitter because this was just before we went live, announced Look back office, which is, have you seen his Look package? That we've spoken about it quite a bit, I think.
Yeah, I've seen kind of demos of it and things. I haven't had a chance to properly kind of get hands on with it though. Yeah,
so the idea is that it's some helpful tools on top of Examine to build more powerful searches. And his Look back office package gives you a tree where you can navigate all of the documents in your Examine indexes in a kind of Umbraco friendly way. You don't necessarily need to be a developer to understand everything that's in there, which is cool. I'm surprised that it's not been built yet because the Examine tools in the back office aren't fantastic as they are. Oh, and speaking of V8, I saw 2 fantastic things. Content apps are obviously all the rage right now. Linked content nodes by Soren. It's just a content app that tells you which nodes are linking to this node. And if you then try and delete a node, it says, but these other places are linking, so you can't do it. It's kind of like Nextdo from Dave Wustenberg, who built a similar thing for V7, and some of that stuff came over to V8. So it's exciting that this is actually available to download now as well. And this got a ton of likes on Twitter. Paul Seal has created his OCR package. It lets you upload an image, and then with Azure Magic, it pulls the text out of that image and lets you then use that as content. And did you see any of the discussion with Matt Brailsford and co about maybe making this?
No, I saw Paul's initial kind of tweet about it, and thought it just looks really slick. It looks really smart. It's just magic how it works. But I haven't seen anything else about it.
Yeah, so there was a bit of a chat about whether a content app is the right format for this kind of functionality. Should it maybe be a rich text editor option, or should it be somewhere else in the CMS? And I was talking with Paul earlier, so he might release it as a content app and then as something else later. But it's actually really cool to see people applying some of this tech to the CMS using tying Azure and whatever. Whilst we're speaking about Paul, actually, I've written down my pull request of the week, which is this. Paul has updated the ASCII art in the README file.
Nice.
the new formatted logo, which is really cool. With all the kind of lowercase and smooth letters rather than this very square. We'll see if it gets accepted, but this looks like a really amazing pull request.
That's really smart.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, we've kind of blasted through the news, but there was 3 more things I wanted to mention. There was a Umbraco Chennai meetup. I'm pretty sure this was announced last week and I missed it before umbraCoffee. But that's really cool to see the Indian community actually picking up. They've got 31 members already. Their first meetup's in 2 weeks, so that will be really cool. Hope that goes really well. There's a couple of new hires at HQ. We have Bjorn, who has joined the Suits team. And he'll be dealing mainly with the Netherlands. So I guess for us in the UK, we won't have too much involvement from him, but let's try and track him down at Codegarden, given that it will probably be his first, and we can uBuddy up with him.
Yep.
And then the final thing, which is maybe not something we normally talk about or share on umbraCoffee, because I think it's a little bit more business focused, but Heather, who's based in New York, she has written an ebook on an agency's guide to Umbraco. And I think it's kind of targeted more towards people in the US where WordPress and Drupal are the presiding CMSs, and they generally do, most people build their sites on those. So this is maybe how to sell Umbraco to your clients. But I think there's going to be information in here for people of all backgrounds, anywhere in the world. Freelancers, agencies in the UK, I'm sure it all applies. It's $20. A load of people bought it last weekend. So if you've read it, give us a quick review, and we'll maybe other people can buy it too.
Yeah, I bought it when it was. I think there was a 50% discount last weekend.
Yeah.
I got my hands on it, and I've had a quick skim through it, and it's looking really good. I think there's definitely stuff for the UK market as well. It's really cool. Nice.
Well, that's all the news I had. But did you have anything else you wanted to add?
I don't think so. I think that's a pretty good roundup.
Yeah. It's been great to have you, and I think I'll probably see you at Codegarden next. You're not coming to Spark next week?
Unfortunately not. No. I did look at it, but I'm in Belfast instead.
Oh, very nice. So it'll be Codegarden, and we will where we'll be uBuddying in the first session, the opening session. Looking forward
to it. Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Awesome. Well, have a great weekend, Owen, and everyone on the live stream. I don't know if Marcin's back next week. I think he's still snowboarding. So we'll see you live from Umbraco Spark next week.
Cool.
See ya.
Enjoy. See you there.